Allow the silence to speak for you. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So silence, you're learning to harness this. You're learning that it is a superpower post-relationship. You're realizing that you overshared information when you were in the relationship. You're realizing now that other people, and specifically the narcissist or narcissists, plural, they were information harvesting. They were gathering information about you. They were planting seeds so they could extract more information from you. They try to learn every single thing about you, your past, your present, your future, everything that you wanted to do, everything you accomplished, hopes, dreams, aspirations, relationships, hobbies. They wanted to know everything about you, and I didn't even talk about money. When you were an open book back then, when you were in the relationship, and probably throughout most of your life, you didn't realize that other people had other ideas in mind for what you would do for them. Now, again, this is a lot to unpack, but everything isn't how it appears to be on the planet. On one end, you have the narcissist or toxic people. On the other end, you have the true empath, the person who was taken advantage of and who was manipulated and trapped in that narcissistic relationship or the narcissistic fog. And in between, you have everybody else. Now, you most likely are the person who was manipulated and taken advantage of, as was I. Back then, you didn't know what you know now. So how could you understand, or how could you wrap your head around the fact that you were trying to share information with somebody who turned out to be the person who was manipulating you and twisting and turning you, the narrative, the direction you would be going in, how you spent your time and your energy. Think about this. Just let's go to hobbies for a moment. What hobbies did you participate in or with when you were, before you were with the narcissist? Maybe you like to go jet skiing and you like to go surfing. Well, you meet the narcissist and no longer can you go surfing because the airfare tickets are too expensive, or the surfing equipment is too expensive, and skiing's way too expensive, and jet skiing, now let's just don't do that because it costs too much gas. Well, what happened then? Well, there go your hobbies, and now the narcissist wants you using that time, money, and energy for them. This is how they shift the direction of one's life. This is how they take the consciousness of another person, trap them in that zombie-like, trance-like state, which is known as the narcissistic fog or trauma bond, whatever you want to call it. They're both interchangeable, but yet unique, and they both equal toxicity. Then they begin to steer that one person away from what they were doing into what they want them to do. That's what the narcissist does. But again, back then, you didn't realize that you were an open book, and you thought the other person was committed, that they were in it for the long haul, or that they would keep their word, or that, yeah, maybe a couple times they let you down, but it's okay. They had a rough childhood, or they had a busy day at work, or they've got other family problems going on, or they're just moving and they don't have time to do things, or they're stuck in the office, or they have an old car and maybe they were late because the car had a radiator problem or something. You were making excuses for them. And the reason you made excuses for them is because they taught you how to make excuses for them. They slowly, insidiously crept into your life. They slowly had you believing that whatever they were telling you was real and accurate. What they were trying to do was diverge your information, your energy, your mindset, your focus, and your purpose away from what it should have been onto them. And they were trying to string you along down that road of abuse, which would end in one place, which is called Destructionsville. They had done this with other people before they met you. They did it with you, and I can assure you, if they're still gallivanting the globe, they're doing it right now. Why they do this? It's because the narcissist is a coward. They're a bully, they're lazy, they information harvest. They cannot emotionally regulate themselves, and they know that they need to abuse and manipulate other people to do things for them. The narcissist is a master manipulator. And when they had access to you, keyword is had access to you, they could control you, whether they were sitting next to you, whether they were in a car, whether they were at work or you were, whether they were 5,000 miles away, no matter where you were, wherever they were, and you'll never know where they were when they weren't with you. A lot to say, but it's all true, and no, there's no script here. They were controlling you. What do you think your cell phone was when you were in the relationship with the narcissist? It was a remote control that they were controlling you by. Think of how many times you would check your phone for a text that never arrived. Think of how many times you would check your phone and you were having a great day, and your day would be blown up because the narcissist just dumped a whole bunch of toxicity on you. Think about every time the phone would ring, you would pick it up real quick. Is it them? And you'd be like, oh no, it's not them. It's just the boss, so I don't have to get that. See, your attention was not where it should have been. It was misplaced. It was misdirected. It was misguided. It was misaligned. It was not where it should have been. And this is what the narcissist did. Again, it's what they're doing right now. But when you were oversharing, keyword is were, when you were oversharing information with the narcissist, they were gathering all of this up and trying to figure out how long they could keep you stuck in the narcissistic fog, how much they could take from you if you would ever figure it out. And believe me, they never thought you would figure it out. And when approximately they could end this. Now, the ending of the narcissistic relationship is unlike anything you've ever experienced before, I can assure you. If you've gone through it, you know what I'm talking about. The point being there is that the narcissist may not have known the exact day, hour, and time they were going to discard you or end it. But I can assure you, as your energy was becoming depleted, as your mind was staying trapped, and as your resources were becoming more and more defunct, they were looking to replace you. I've shared this analogy for years. I'll say it again. Picture a battery fully charged, and once that battery gets down low to 50%, 30%, 20%, 12%, 4%, well, you need a new battery and you have to plug it in. There is what the narcissist does. That's what the narcissist does with people. They look at people as batteries. And if you don't have a full charge, they are going to throw you away in the bin or discard you, and they're going to get a new battery to fuel them, to use that person's energy to get them where they want. Think of the narcissist as a toy robot, if you will. They need a battery to move. Well, you were the battery, so was I. And this is how they can end relationships so effortlessly, and they don't care about anybody other than themselves, and they will throw anybody, and I mean anybody, under the bus at any one moment. But going back, when the relationship ended, it probably ended when one of these few things happened, or maybe all of them. 1, your health took a hit. 2, you no longer had money or a job. 3, something very serious or perhaps even catastrophic happened in your life. Maybe you lost a loved one, maybe one of your parents passed away, or your siblings, or something like that happened. Or perhaps you were very vulnerable for a different reason. There's one other reason that may have taken place, and the whole list of reasons why the reasons why the narcissist will end the relationship, it's not exclusive to these, but another reason would be because perhaps they already had depleted your battery from 100% down to, let's say, 20, and they thought that you would never get recharged, and basically you wouldn't survive and make it. So they would throw you away, try to twist the knife in you as deep as they possibly could, so maybe you would burn up your own energy so you get to 0 and you don't make it, if you can read between the lines. And then they had a new source of supply, or a recycled source that they would insert that maybe had 90%, maybe 85%. Can't tell you, but this is what they do. They interchange people like batteries. So now, when that ending took place, again, maybe it was around the holidays, maybe it was around a graduation, maybe it was around the birth of a child, maybe it was right when you got fired, maybe it was the day after you signed them over, you gave them access to your 401k or the beach home or whatever. Once they get what they want, they don't want access to that person usually the way they used to. Because why that is because the narcissist is wearing a mask, and the mask is a way to lure people into the web of abuse, into a way to lure the people into a web of manipulation. And that is called the love bomb stage, or the euphoric stage. When you were believing in the mask in the past, you didn't know what you know now. You weren't taught this, so how could you know that a narcissist existed, and how could you know that your world was about to be spun upside down? You didn't, and you were believing in the person, which is why you were an open book, and the narcissist was just feeding you little breadcrumbs so you would share more and more and more. Now, when that love bomb's over, or the euphoric stage is over, that's when they usually peel the mask off a little bit more and more and more, and you begin to see the real dark side of them, because the mask becomes too cumbersome. They don't want to wear it. They don't need to wear it. They already have you where they want you, and they're going to begin to feed off of you. That's the second part of the narcissistic abusive cycle, which is the devaluation stage, which is the longest part of the cycle usually. Then comes the ending, and then comes at times a hoover. Remember, do not accept a hoover, become unhooverable, get off the radar of the narcissist, and that's where this thumbnail comes into play. Allow the silence to speak for you. You see, your silence is a superpower. It's something that you didn't have before, or you didn't utilize before, I should say, because you were an open book. Now, post-relationship, specifically as you're healing, or when you've healed, you will understand that your silence does all the talking for you. Not exclusive to the narcissist. I'm talking to average everyday people also. So let's put the narcissist on the side for a moment, and let's say that you get invited to a couple holiday events, gatherings or family events, whatever, and let's say you don't want to attend for some reason. Well, in the old days, you would attend and you would probably drive 300, 400, 500 miles, and you would probably bring all the gifts and you put on your game face and you would act like it was the greatest time ever. And at dinner, you would be punished for why you're earning so much money or why you're not earning money or where you're living there or why you're married, why you're not married, why you didn't do this. I can't believe you did that. Or so you, after maybe a couple of hours, maybe even a day, you'd say, I can't believe I fell for this again. Why did I do it? Well, you didn't know what you know now. So now what you know, because you've been in the narcissistic abusive cycle and you're different, now you realize that you can politely decline that invitation if you don't want to attend. And you don't explain and give them a whole filibuster, 10-paragraph reason why. You just say, sorry, I've got things going on, or I'm working on myself, or I'd prefer to stay here this year. Whatever you say, I'm not going to tell you what to say, but you decline politely. And then eventually, maybe you won't get invited to those events. I can't tell you, it's up to you. But I would share this. You need to trust your instincts, trust your intuition. You need to believe in yourself. You need to see red flags and pay attention to them. And you need to do what you want, when you want, with whom or not. In the old days, you would do whatever other people wanted you to do, which is why you were the glue that kept the family together. That's why the narcissists sunk their dirty fangs into you, because you would be a fuel source for them. But now, your silence, allow the silence to do the talking for you. This is a superpower, and it is a superpower on steroids when you wrap your head around that you've been someplace that few people will ever be, which is trapped in the narcissistic abusive cycle. You also made it out, and very few people make it out. You also have the wisdom, or you are acquiring the wisdom. You see, you found that needle in a haystack, and because of that, you're putting yourself back together, or you already have done so. Not everybody will make it this far in the journey. Not everybody will make it out. Not everybody will find the needle in a haystack, and not everybody will heal. This part of the video you need to play again. You may be saying, well, why are you saying that? I thought this was an educational, motivational, instrumental video to elevate me and help me. Well, it is. I'm sharing with you, if you made it this far in the video, it's because you're committed, you're determined, you're resilient. You will make it through the fire. You will see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you will continue to use your silence as a superpower and allow the silence to speak for you. You see, one of the main things that people don't understand, and they're beginning to understand a little bit, but they don't really get it. When I say that not everyone makes it out, that means that some people don't make it. Read between the lines. It means that many, many other people stay trapped and stuck in the narcissistic fog months, years, decades later, because they weren't strong enough to break the bond. They're still thinking that their relationship was the best relationship they ever had. They're still drinking the Kool-Aid that the narcissist poured 10, 20, 30 years ago. And that's not their fault. It's just that maybe they didn't have access to the internet. Maybe they're born in a different generation. Maybe that bond was too thick. I can't tell you. I'm not going to go into that. What I'm sharing now, in almost the year 2026, you are different than most people. And you should know that. You should embrace it, and you should accept it the way I have accepted it 5 years ago with myself, and I accept it with you. You need to wrap your head around that just because other people are doing whatever they're doing, that doesn't cut it any longer. That's the old version of you. There are 3 versions of you. The first version of you is who you were before you met the narcissist, rose-tinted glasses, if you will. Second version is you being manipulated and abused when you're trapped in the narcissistic abusive cycle. No fun. That was life-threatening, debilitating, challenging, taxing, and the relationship from hell. And the third version of you, the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind, is the version you are either in or entering. That's the person who's healed, who's risen through the ashes like a phoenix, put themselves back together, mastered the art of silence, mastered boundaries, mastered what toxicity is, and wants nothing to do with it. You've insulated and protected yourself and those loved and trusted ones around you. You have put yourself back together against all odds, unlike most people in the past. That's why you are different. You need to celebrate that and embrace it. Not the fact that you were in the relationship, but that you are out and that you've healed or you are healing. So the reason I'm sharing all those things is when you understand that not everybody is who they appear to be. Not everybody has your best interest at heart. Not everybody will be upfront and truthful and honest with you. You already went down that rodeo or down that path with the narcissist, and that applies even more today with other people. I'm not saying that everybody is the narcissist, anything but. I am not a doom and gloom person. I don't wish ill will upon anybody. I'm not going to start now. I never have and I never will. I am saying to you and suggesting very strongly to apply the tools that are provided for you with each and every video I create, to maintain boundaries, to go no contact with toxic people, to delete them, remove them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them, and to understand that the rest of your journey on this planet called Earth during this thing called life is meant for you, and you should be doing what you want, when you want, and how you want. And no stranger, no past relationship, no sibling who you haven't talked to in 5 years, no toxic parasite narcissist that pops up after 20 years claiming that they left an old glove at your house from 30 years ago and they want it back. No neighbor claiming that they just have a tough break and they can't pay rent this month, but you realize that you've loaned them money in the past and they've never paid you back. All of these sob stories go away when you realize that people have been always trying to steal your energy, your time, your mindset, your money, and everything about you. Again, I am not saying that everybody's toxic, anything but. I'm saying the smaller footprint you have and the more you embrace your silence and allow the silence to speak for you, the better off you will be. The more you will stay in that high vibrational state, the less you will deal with other people's proclaimed toxicity or issues or problems. Think about this. You go to the grocery store, or you're on an airplane, or you're in line or somewhere, or in a business meeting, or maybe you're at work, wherever you are, and someone tells you, yeah, this relationship I'm in, it's just so rough. I can't believe this person's doing A, B, and C to me. It's been 2 years. I can't believe it. What should I do? Should I stay in it or should I leave? I mean, I can't get that. I don't understand this. And you've been talking to this person since you've healed. Let's say you've healed 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago. I don't know, but you know what's going on, or you can sense it. And you've tried to guide this person that you're talking to at the water cooler. Let's use the business example. And they're not quite getting it. Well, you have two options there, very simply. One, you could try to steer them and guide them, but you'll be probably taking on some of their baggage, and you've already tried that, and it appears the other person's not ready to receive the message, because when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You're the teacher, but they're not ready to receive the message yet. Or two, you could pull back and say, hey, yeah, I get it. I understand. Well, I hope things work out for you, and all the best. See, you can do whatever you want to do now. In the past, you couldn't do that. In the past, what you were doing is trying to put out all the fires that everybody was starting, intentionally, deliberately, or on purpose. Or maybe there were some other things that popped up that maybe they weren't intentional or deliberately, but you still helped, you still gave to a fault. You probably were a people pleaser, and people took advantage of that. Now, fast forward, relationship's over, you've healed, you're in a great spot, you need to stay there. Next thing I'll share with you is allow the silence to speak for you. Many times people feel obligated to respond to an email, or reply to an email, or a text, or a phone call, or an invitation. You don't have to do any of that. Again, I am not saying to not communicate with people. What I'm suggesting is just because somebody emails you doesn't mean it deserves a response. Doesn't mean it deserves a response immediately either. Just because somebody calls you, it doesn't mean you have to call them back. Just because somebody wants to invite you to attend something doesn't mean you have to attend. The days of the old are over. The days of the new are here, and the days of the future haven't arrived yet. You have acquired something that very few people will ever acquire, and that is called the wisdom. The wisdom is when you embrace your silence. It's when you allow the silence to speak for you. Remember what I shared with you. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do now. This is why you have now probably either arrived at the mountaintop of indifference, or the pinnacle of indifference, or you will. And this is literally when you can take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book, sleep until 12 or stay up till 3 a.m. You can come out in the Carolina woods, create a video. You can go do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, because now you're free, you're liberated. Other people's problems aren't yours. Other people's baggage aren't yours. You've cut the 4 ties from the narcissist, the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual. You've elevated, you've ascended, you've grown, you've changed. Your mind is crystal clear. You see humanity the way it is, and you realize that your silence is a superpower. It is a superpower unlike any other superpower you've ever even known that you've had. People believe that they need to explain or defend or share or talk to other people. Again, those are days of the old. Days of the new are you have a small footprint, you do what you want, when you want, and with whom you want to do it. And you don't be as trusting as you used to. You do more observing, you do more listening, less talking. One more time before I close the video. Why I'm sharing all of this is because you're different than most people on the planet. You can't just go and sit at a table of 30 people over the holidays and laugh it up like you used to and tell the old jokes and think everything's great. You can't do that. I'm not saying you can't attend the event. I'm saying the way you would see people is totally different now. Say you're at that event. Say it's a Christmas dinner of 30 people or whatever religious celebration it is. Well, in the old days, before you were in the narcissistic abusive cycle, you could blend in. You could fit in with everybody and laugh and joke and tell stories, and that would be great. Now, what you would be doing, and I've never shared this in videos, but it's what you would be doing, you would be looking at all those people, listening to their words, trying to figure out who is who isn't, if that person's real, if they're not. And this is not a bad thing. It's part of the healing. It's part of the growth, because you now have antenna, you have a sixth sense. These are your spider senses that you cannot turn off, because you can't unsee what you've seen. And what you will be doing for the rest of your life is you will be observing way more than talking. You will be allowing the silence to speak for you. You'll be trusting your instincts, trusting your intuition, paying attention to any red flags if they present themselves. You'll be celebrating green flags, and you will be living an abundant life. So everyone, play the video, play it a few times, pay it forward to anyone who could use it. Your silence is a superpower, and it is the kryptonite of the narcissist, and it is the kryptonite of any toxic person who ever will attempt to enter your sphere, your energy, your aura, or your mindset from this day going forward. Again, I am not saying everyone is a narcissist, quite the opposite. What I'm saying is you need to protect where you are. It took you a lot of courage, strength, resilience, determination, focus, and perseverance, if I didn't say that, to get where you are. When you are where you are, which means healed, you need to stay there. Other people's baggage, it's theirs. If you believe you can help somebody, do it. But you shouldn't be treating everybody the exact same way as you were in the past, because once you treated everybody the same way as you did in the past, one of those people was the narcissist, and here we are. That's why you now have boundaries, and that's why you've now elevated and changed, unlike anybody had ever changed before, because you are different. You are stronger than you know. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And a couple things, before I close the video. Silence is a superpower. Oversharing information is a weakness. Explaining and defending to people is a weakness. Knowing the truth is a strength. Knowing where you've been and how much effort it took you to get out is a strength. Knowing that you were trapped in a web that you were never, and I mean never, supposed to get out of, but you did, is a superpower. Realizing you will never go backwards again is a superpower. Trusting your instincts and intuition is the biggest superpower of all time. Keeping your clarity and keeping your mindset is a superpower also. You need to understand that most people you have ever met or ever will meet will not even know one thing that you're talking about. I'm referring to being in the cycle, breaking out of it, healing, and healing properly. They just won't get it. That's why most people get burned out when you are healing or trying to explain things to them, because they can't wrap their head around it. And that is okay. They are on a different journey than you are, and they're definitely on a different journey than I am, which is why you need to really allow the silence to speak for you. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.